Welcome to GasEd. Today we will be discussing how agentic workflows are reshaping AI automation. I am literally thrilled to be guiding you through this explainer. We are standing on the edge of a massive shift in how businesses operate. If you've been building automations, well, you know the traditional grind. But what we're looking at today fundamentally rewrites those rules. We're moving from a world where we have to tell computers exactly how to do every single little thing to a reality where we just tell them what we want done and they figure it out.
We've got a packed executive briefing for you today. We're going to run through the paradigm shift, the 4 pillars of agentic AI, the WAT framework, multi-agent systems, and finally, your evolving role as the AI architect. Let's get right into it.
Part 1. The automation paradigm shift. To really understand where we're headed, we first need to take a quick look at how automation fundamentally operated in the past.
If you've spent any time in traditional node-based builders, you absolutely know the drill. You configure the API, map the variables, test the flow. It breaks. You read the error message, tweak things, and test again. Every single connection, every condition, that is entirely on you. It's incredibly manual. But with the new way, with agentic workflows, it acts like a hired human developer. You don't sit down and dictate every single line of code to a developer, right? You define the outcome. You explain the business problem and what the final deliverable should look like in plain English. If you can clearly communicate the scope, the agent builds the process.
All right, moving on to part 2, the 4 pillars of agentic AI. This massive leap in capability isn't just magic. It is built upon 4 foundational pillars that take the heavy burden of execution right off your shoulders.
First up is self-healing. And honestly, this is a real game changer. Remember that endless manual debugging loop we just talked about? Well, instead of you reading error messages, the agent handles that loop for you. If it hits an error, it doesn't just freeze and wait for help. It reads its own error message, figures out why it failed, rewrites its own code or instructions, and tests the fix autonomously. It literally only taps you on the shoulder if it gets truly stuck.
Pillar 2 is natural language. Now, this isn't just typing a prompt into a box and crossing your fingers. We've all used tools that get you 60% of the way there and leave a huge mess to clean up. This is totally different. Before it even starts building, the agent actually interviews you. It asks clarifying questions like, hey, what happens if this specific edge case occurs? It uncovers blind spots you wouldn't have noticed for months. Once it has that context, plain English becomes your remote control.
Pillar 3 is automated security. Because let's face it, when you have AI writing code you might not fully understand, security is absolutely paramount. Here, large language models act like your security-obsessed co-pilot. They are constantly reviewing every single code change in real time to protect your API keys and sensitive customer data. You just set the guardrails in plain English, like never send customer phone numbers to a third-party tool, and the system ruthlessly enforces it during every single step.
And the 4th pillar is instant integrations. This eliminates the absolute nightmare of reading through 10 pages of dense API documentation just to figure out a simple authentication header. You simply tell the agent what tool you want to connect to, it independently reads the API docs and handles the messy technical details. Plus, agents now utilize the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. Think of MCP like an app store for agents. It provides pre-wrapped tools so the agent instantly knows exactly what's available and how to use it. Section 3. The WAT framework explained. So, how do we actually organize all this power? To put these 4 pillars into practice, we rely on a highly structured architecture known as the WAT framework.
The WAT framework is elegant in its simplicity. It stands for workflows, agent, and tools. The agent is the core brain you interact with. The workflows are your standard operating procedures, basically the text files defining your overarching objective. And the tools? Those are the specific deterministic actions, like a Python script to scrape a website. The agent reads the workflow to understand the big picture goal, and then it orchestrates the tools to get the whole shebang done. Part 4. Multi-agent systems and A2A. Now that we understand a single agent's architecture, let's look at the horizon. Because the true future of enterprise automation lies in interconnected, autonomous ecosystems. This shift from single reactive flows to proactive systems is driving absolutely massive market growth. To put it in perspective, analysts project the AI agent market will skyrocket to a staggering $50 billion by 2030. That is a 43% compound annual growth rate.
Enterprises are rapidly realizing they don't just need software that waits around to be triggered. They need systems that proactively scan their CRM for opportunities.
To get there, enterprises are going to deploy specialized agent teams. Instead of one giant, clunky agent trying to do everything, you'll have a whole squad, a research agent, a data cleaning agent, and a manager agent to delegate the work. And to make this work across different vendors, we need a common language. That's where open standard protocols come in, like Google's agent-to-agent or A2A. We're heading toward an agent mesh, where specialized bots share context and coordinate seamlessly without you having to play middleman.
But hey, there is a hurdle we have to clear. Currently, agents are great sprinters, but terrible long-distance runners. If you ask an agent to run a project for weeks, the context degrades. It starts hallucinating and looping. To solve this, developers are introducing shift-based work harnesses. It's literally like a relay race. One agent works a shift, and before its context window gets overwhelmed, it leaves highly structured notes, a checklist of what changed and what's next. Then it logs off, and a fresh agent picks up those notes and resumes context. This ensures sustained accuracy over days, weeks, or even months.
Finally, Part 5, Becoming the AI Architect. With the implementation layer, the actual writing of code and wiring of APIs becoming completely automated, your professional role has to evolve.
Look, if you've spent the last year learning traditional automation tools, you might be kind of panicking right now. Don't! Your past experience puts you way ahead of the curve. Why? Because of 3 things. You know process decomposition, how to break down messy business problems into logical steps. You have a systems vocabulary to speak precisely to the agent. And you have an intuition for failure modes. You know exactly what edge cases to warn the agent about because you've lived through them.
Here is the crucial takeaway. You are shifting from a hands-on builder to a strategic architect. The barrier to entry for simply writing code is dropping to 0. The real value now lies in understanding complex business problems and designing exactly what these agents should actually do. You are no longer the one pedaling the bicycle, you are the one steering the motorcycle.
The era of manual node connecting is over. The question is, will you let this wave wash over you, or will you step up and become the AI architect your company needs? That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.